Welcome to this edition of AFMC TV.
I'll tell you how I got better. I'm glad to be here.
But a mission to
Delivery of. Well, I think that we're going to talk about everybody's.
Arkansas is the second highest prescriber.
Welcome to AFMC TV. I'm Robin Ledbetter. Thank you for joining us. Today I have with me Jim Myers, and he is the Business Development Manager of CPR in the Southwest region for the American Heart Association. Jim, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Robin.
So the first week of June is CPR week. Tell me what that means.
Yeah. Officially, it's CPR and AED Awareness Week, and this was formed in 2007, I believe, in conjunction with the American Red Cross and the American Heart Association, just to make people more aware of what life-saving techniques are out there in case they come across a cardiac arrest that's out of the hospital, and they know a little bit more what to do. So that's when it really first started, and it's just another way of us getting in front of folks during the summertime as people get more active and just say, hey, you need to know these life-saving skills, and here's how to do them and what an AED is and so forth.
So let's talk a little bit about CPR. And it's pretty startling, the statistics of someone that does not survive an out-of-the-hospital cardiac arrest if you don't know CPR, right?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. We have about 356,000 plus out-of-hospital cardiac arrests happening every year in our country. And really, it's been pretty stable at 1 out of 10 actually survive. So we're really not happy with that statistic. And so one of the things that we want to do by 2030 is to double, which sounds like a lot, but it's only 20% then surviving an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. And so it's really a big lift. And that's what our emphasis is across the country with the American Heart Association.
And I've heard it been said that we are a nation of bystanders and not lifesavers. Is it because most people don't know CPR?
Yeah, majority of folks, it's like 46% kind of know how to do CPR, seen it in a movie, maybe had a course way back when, maybe learned hands-only CPR a few years ago. But yeah, that's the sad fact that people don't want to get involved. Sometimes they feel like it's a litigious thing and they'll be sued if they don't do it right or that sort of thing. But there are Good Samaritan laws that allow us to actually jump in and jump on a chest as soon as possible to begin those life-saving CPR compressions. So we want to turn, and I call them sometimes bystanders, into tristanders at least. Get them the opportunity, give them the skill set they need to know so they're confident enough when somebody does drop and looks like a cardiac arrest because they're unresponsive and they're not breathing, you can start CPR at that point. And that's what we want people to do. And when we went to hands-only CPR in about 2008, we did a study that really talked about the difference between performing standard CPR with breaths versus hands-only CPR. And what we found was really interesting, that because people jump on the chest quicker with hands-only CPR, they don't have to think about it. They don't have to ask around, hey, do you know CPR? I didn't take a course. Yeah, it was like, a long time ago. You don't do that. You just jump into action right away. Again, once you've established that there's not responsiveness and the person's not breathing. So we found that the actual discharge from hospital, live discharges, was about the same with standard CPR versus hands-only CPR. So that's why we keep pushing that literally and figuratively around the country.
And you mentioned something about that the average person may have seen it in a movie or got trained years ago. There are what you guys are calling drills or refreshers, to where you guys come into businesses and in community groups and teach kind of refresher courses on how to do CPR.
Well, we do what we call demonstrations a lot of times, where we have our staff folks go in or volunteers go in and actually do a demonstration for a group. I did a demonstration for a group of Rotarians of about 200 at a regional conference a couple weeks ago, for instance. And that's where we're actually showing from a stage, what you need to do in case of a cardiac emergency. But we'd much rather do kind of a hands-only training that is also sustainable for a business or an organization. So we come in and actually bring, or they purchase CPR mannequins, and they do the actual psychomotor skills necessary to keep somebody alive. Because I'm telling you, unless you do it and do it for a couple minutes at least, you don't realize how hard it is to do and how aerobic it is to do over time. But that's what we want to teach, is that kind of muscle memory in terms of speed and depth and the skills necessary to keep somebody alive just with their own hands.
And tell us about the high school graduation requirement now for CPR.
Okay. Well, 6 states in my region in the Southwest, out of those 6, only 4 have it as a graduation requirement. There's some other sticky things going on with Wyoming and Colorado, but Arkansas definitely has it as a graduation requirement. And usually it's worded in the fact, for anywhere from mid-school to high school, have at least one course that actually uses the psychomotor skills of hands-only CPR in teaching a classroom, and some basic AED help as well, so they know how to use an AED in case that comes up. A lot of the schools I talk to, unfortunately, all they offer is a video, and that's really not what we want to have happen. Just like in a regular demonstration where we're doing a little bit of hands-only training, we want the students to get onto a chest and really perform the hands-only CPR, because, again, they don't realize how far they have to go in terms of depth of a chest, and they don't realize how hard it is to sustain that for 5 minutes or 6 minutes or 10 minutes. So it is definitely a graduation requirement in Arkansas and 4 of the other states that I work with. But we keep going back with our advocacy folks and saying, let's make it a mandatory thing for all states.
And tell us about a CPR kit. What is that? Does that include the mannequin?
Yes, we have 2 essential types of kits. One that's basically an individual kit that has an adult child CPR mannequin in it, and another one has an infant CPR mannequin in it. So those are available on our website at heart.org if you just simply want to buy one and share it with your own family. Then we have team-sized kits. That's what I call them, that have 10 mannequins in each, and they're in a large 35-pound duffel bag on wheels. It's got a nice handle, just like a carry-on piece of luggage would have for the airport, and it's very, very portable, so businesses can use it, organizations like Boys and Girls Clubs or YMCAs or schools. It's a very, very versatile sized kit that you can teach 10 to 20 students or participants at a time. And we've got 3 different versions of that, one for schools specifically, one for any other organization that's a little more generic, and then one for youth sports that has a little more robust component of first aid in terms of broken bones and heat stroke and some other things that we deal with. So it's a really complete set with its own curriculum inside, very easy to teach. I've got a teacher in Colorado who's a 3rd grade teacher in a rural space, and she is actually teaching their staff as well as students with these kits. So it's a very, very easy way to teach hands-only CPR to a lot of folks very quickly.
And you touched on this a little bit, meaning rural areas. Arkansas is a rural state, and so this could potentially change lives in communities to have those kits in those communities.
That's absolutely correct. We have some kits that went to Mississippi County recently to 3 different libraries that are actually giving them out at those libraries. But what I'd love to see is these big team-sized kits being checked out at rural libraries. So if you have a business or, again, a nonprofit organization or whatever, or even a school, you actually check out these kits and check it back in, because they're inflated by a pump. They're not inflated by mouth, so they can stay safe that way. And again, all the curriculum and all that you need, knee pads, storage things, and so forth, are all within this 35-pound red duffel bag. So it's a really kind of a cool portable way of teaching a lot of folks quickly. And we can get up to like 300,000 impressions on these inflatable mannequins. So they're not just cheap little mannequins. They really do endure under pretty harsh circumstances.
Well, Jim, thank you for talking about the efforts that the American Heart Association are doing for CPR, and I appreciate you talking with us today.
Thank you so much, Robin. We just want to create a nation of lifesavers and save some more lives. So thanks for the opportunity.
Well, that's it for this episode of AFMC TV. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.